and we can start. So, as you probably know, today we are going to talk about some words that are used in English quite commonly, that come from other languages. Like English is a kind of a thief that steals words from other languages, sometimes even quite exotic. So today we are going to have a look at some words that have been commonly adopted into English dictionaries. So let's have a look at some of them together. I'm pretty sure that you know many of them. Some of them are also used in our language and in other languages, so they have become well kind of international. But let's have a look at the list that I have prepared. Yeah, first of all, yeah, Latin classic and addendum, which of course is something added, an item added, like at the end of a book or some kind of publication. For example, yeah, consider this a short addendum to that review that puts the spotlight on the iPad. So yeah, so that's the addendum. So just something added. Then we have ad lib, which is a shorter version of ad libitum, another beautiful classic Latin phrase. And this one means freely, without restriction, or without preparation, kind of like improvising. For example, yeah, they told me to forget the script because I was going to have to ad lib everything, like improvise everything without following the script. So that's ad libitum for you. Another beautiful Latin phrase, ad nauseum. Yeah, we have the word nausea in English, but yeah, to ad nauseum simply means, yeah, to a sickening or to an excessive degree. You have too much of something, yeah, like until you feel sick. For example, yeah, I wish he'd dropped the subject we have heard about, budget cuts ad nauseum, so constantly and too much until something just makes you feel sick. Agenda. Oh, that's a classic, but it also comes from Latin. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this word. So of course, agenda is a list, plan, outline of things to be done or discussed, matters to be acted upon or voted upon. Yeah, for example, the chairman says we have a lengthy agenda this afternoon. Then we have a la carte, so something from French. And when you go to a restaurant and you order something a la carte, basically, yeah, it's on the menu. It's like the individually priced items from a menu. So if you eat a la carte, you choose each dish from a separate list instead of ordering some fixed combination of dishes at a fixed price. So for example, yeah, you get more choice if you eat a la carte, or you can also say from the a la carte menu. So this French phrase has been incorporated into English. Al fresco, so that's a beautiful Italian phrase, which is quite often used in English, which means simply outdoors or in the open air. For example, after a year in which many people chose the relative safety of driving, movies, al fresco film screenings are making a comeback around the region. Yeah, it's quite fun to watch a good film outdoors. Okay, the next one is another Latin classic, yeah? Alma mater. So basically, yeah, we use this phrase in Polish, and of course it means like literally it's like nourishing mother, yeah, mother that feeds you. But it's often used to refer to a university or school which you have graduated, where you have studied. So for example, the portrait of her that once hung at Oxford University, her alma mater, was quietly placed in storage. Okay, au pair. That's another French classic. So basically, an au pair is usually a young foreign girl who helps in a home, like she helps with housework and looking after children. Yeah, for example, sure, she was more expensive than an au pair, but we congratulated ourselves. She spoke English, and she knew what she was doing. So that's an au pair. Bête noire, so another French phrase. Literally, I guess it means like black beast. So this is not a not a very positive phrase. It's used to refer to a person or thing which is disliked or dreaded, or to talk about something that annoys you a lot, annoys you intensely. For example, yeah, the weather being practically the bête noire of our existence came in for a good deal of abuse, or it was a solution to her great difficulty, a loophole by which she might get rid of her bête noire, the hated Isabel. Yeah, so if something gets on your nerves, annoys you, or you dislike something a lot, then you can use this French phrase to describe such a person or such a thing. Blasé. Okay. Any ideas? What this one means? You can type in something in a chat if you want to share. Let's wait for some answers. Like we have something similar in our language, I guess. This word comes from French, of course. So if you feel blasé, or if you are blasé, of course, it means you're kind of indifferent or bored with life. You're unimpressed with what's going on around you. Like you've had too much of everything, and you're just tired, and nothing um, makes you tick, right? So, for example, he was very excited when his first book was published, but now, having written over 30, he's fairly blasé about it. Yeah. So yeah, one book more, one book less, like whatever. Yep. Thank you for the answer. Blasé, boring, bored. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Then we have another Latin classic. You can pronounce it like bona fide or bona fide. Very often with phrases or words coming from foreign languages, there's more than one way of pronouncing it in English. So of course, if something of someone is bona fide, then it's done it in a good faith, yeah, because that's what this phrase basically means, a good faith. So you do something without intention to cheat, without intention to deceive. Something bona fide or bona fide, if you prefer, is authentic and true. For example, yeah, imagine his surprise when the person on the other end of his Zoom date was a bona fide introvert, 23-year-old technical government contractor, Amanda Davis. Yeah, so bona fide or bona fide. Carte blanche. So yeah, another French classic adopted into English, and of course it means that we have complete freedom to act. We have full power. It's like a blank page. Yeah, translating it literally. For example, yeah, the current system gives companies like AbbVie, Pfizer, Biogen, and all the titans of the industry nearly carte blanche on how to price their medicines, no matter how long ago they were created. Yeah, so if you're given carte blanche, you have complete freedom to act like a totally blank page, which you can fill as you see fit. Caveat emptor. Okay, that's maybe a less not such a popular Latin phrase, but basically it's used whenever you buy something and you're not really sure about the quality or the source from which you're buying. So it's like let the buyer beware. Yeah, so be careful when buying. So basically, yeah, you buy something at your own risk. So something like secondhand item, or you buy something from some strange source that you're not really sure of. Yeah, for example, I learned what caveat emptor meant the hard way when I bought a bike that never seemed to work right. So if you buy something caveat emptor, you buy at your own risk. You should be aware of some dangers that might be connected with the item that you are buying. Then we have another French one, like chef d'oeuvre, and that's basically used to describe a masterpiece, especially when you talk about the world of arts. For example, it is indeed a masterpiece, a chef d'oeuvre, beauty and expression unequaled. Yeah? So if something is described as chef d'oeuvre, then it's a real masterpiece, like the best of the best, especially in the world of art. Okay, then we have chic, which is kind of international, I guess. Another French word on our list. And basically, if something is chic as an adjective, it simply means that something is attractive and fashionable, stylish, and it can also be used as a noun. And then it simply means, yes, style and elegance, especially when you talk about the way somebody is dressed, about clothes, right? For example, when fashion and technology combine, the result is usually a chic product at the end. Yeah, fashion technology, good combination. Okay, so that's chic. Then we have coup d'état, another French phrase that found its way into English. And coup d'état is like a sudden overthrow of a government by the army. Sometimes we can hear about some coup d'état in the news, when the army takes control of the country by overthrowing the president or current government. Yes, for example, he left Paris after the coup d'état of 1851 and spent 9 years in England. So that's coup d'état. Sometimes just the word coup is used. Okay, coup de grâce, another French phrase. So this one is used to talk about like a final blow or death blow, intended to end some kind of suffering or to end the fight. So, for example, yeah, we might have to administer the coup de grâce with our hand bayonet, so like finishing off your opponent, just to finish a duel or some kind of fight. Yeah, so that's coup de grâce. Okay, then we got another French one, cul-de-sac, which simply means, maybe you know this one. It's pretty popular. If you have some answers, please type them in the chat. What is cul-de-sac, and what's an English, more English phrase, not a French phrase, to describe something that this phrase means. So cul-de-sac is basically the same as a backpack. Not really. It's actually sack. Okay, you meant so you went this way. So actually, cul-de-sac is like a dead end. It's a street or lane closed at one end. It's like a blind alley. Yeah, so it's like a dead end street. Not only like a physical street that is open only at one end. We can also use this phrase to describe any situation in which further progress is simply impossible. Yeah, so that's the meaning of cul-de-sac. For example, he stepped up his pace slightly, and in a moment, they turned abruptly into a darkened cul-de-sac. Yeah, so a dead end, a street with only one end open. So that's that. Cum laude. So back to Latin. So cum laude, of course, is connected with graduating or finishing some school or university. When you graduate with honor, yeah. So cum laude, you're being praised. So it's used in diplomas to grant like the lowest of 3 special honors for grades that are above the average. For example, yeah, Roberts graduated cum laude from Mount Holyoke College and received her MA from New York University. Yeah, so if your grades are above average, you graduate with honors, cum laude. Then we have back to French, encore. When do we use this one? In what kind of situation would you use this word? More, exactly. That's what the French word means. And basically, yeah, in English we use it when we want more of something, once more or again. So usually it's used by audience calling for an additional number or piece played at the end of a concert. Yeah. As a noun, it's like a demand by applause for a repetition of a song, act, whatever. or for a performance of a number of or piece which is additional to the program, something more. Yeah, so if you want the bands to play a few more songs or one more song, that's what you scream at the end of a show or a concert, encore. For example, yeah, I thought we were in for an encore performance, but gradually the uproar died away, and by midnight all was quiet. Okay, en masse. Well, another French one. So of course, as you can guess, this one means in a large group or all at once. Yeah, en masse. For example, yeah, they pulled up in unmarked cars and on motorcycles appearing en masse out of the darkness. Or but if word of the mission reached the city, there was a risk that the hostages would be executed en masse. Oh, thank you for sharing the link to Jay-Z's song Encore. Right. We can listen to it afterwards. Right. Okay, so that's en masse. Another French classic, entourage. So basically in English we use this word to describe a group of attendants or a group of associates well who accompany a person of rank or a person of importance. Entourage can also mean like surroundings or environment, but usually it's a group of people surrounding and helping out a very important person. Yeah? For example, so with painstaking attention to detail, government officials developed strict, non-negotiable protocols to allow players and limited entourage to take part. Yeah, so that's entourage for you. Okay, then we have entrepreneurs, another French classic, and I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this word. Who is an entrepreneur? What's the English meaning? How is this word used? Any ideas? Just type them up in the chat. A businessman, yeah. Interpreter, not really, but yeah, businessman, boss, influencer. It's more like a yeah. The first answer, businessman, was right on the spot. So entrepreneur is basically a person who starts their own company, who runs their own business. So for example, yeah, that paints a picture of a city that's yeah, self-employed owner. That's entrepreneur. And that paints a picture of a city that's successfully pushing medium-sized companies to great heights, but is struggling to get minority entrepreneurs to the starting line in the first place. Yeah, so businessman, an owner of a business, yeah, somebody who runs or starts their own company. So that's entrepreneur. Okay, a Latin classic, etc. Right? Oh, it's international, I guess. So not only used in English, but you know, if you want to sound fancy, you can also use it in Polish, right? And simply means yeah, and the rest, and so forth, and so on and so forth. So, for example, yeah, the intellectuals, students, etc., will turn on this government as repressive and undemocratic in the not too distant future, or the ammunition, arrows, spears, stone, etc., of the garrison was almost spent. So, etc. Another Latin classic, but this one is mostly used in writing, like just an abbreviation like e.g. Exempli gratia. So of course it means, for example, like or for instance, yeah, little girls, exempli gratia, may not lie on their backs and kick their legs up. Why not? So yeah, that's exempli gratia. So for example, very often used in the form of abbreviation, just e.g. If you don't feel like writing, for example, or for instance, that's the Latin abbreviation you can use, and it means simply for example. Okay, extravaganza. So this is from Italian, I guess. And as we can guess, because we have something similar in our language, I guess. Extravaganza is a lavish or spectacular show, event or performance. Yeah, fancy, something very fancy. For example, yeah, collaborating on 14 features that work together marked a sharp contrast to the melodramas and musical extravaganzas typically made in Bollywood, as Mumbai's Hindi language film industry is known. So that's extravaganza, like a spectacular show or performance. So that's straight from Italian language. Then we have faux pas, like of course another French classic that is used in English, and of course it means well, a mistake. Exactly. Thank you very much. Like a false step, some kind of violation of accepted social norms. Yes, so I guess we use it in a very similar way in our language. Let's have a look at some examples. Like another faux pas: tourists sit on towels, and locals never do. They sit on their sarongs or on beach chairs. Or forget a faux pas of showing up to a costume party in the same costume as someone else. Oops, that wouldn't be so good. Yeah, so that's faux pas for you. Femme fatale, another like international French phrase that is used not only in English but in other languages. I guess in our language as well. So of course it means like an irresistibly attractive woman, especially one who leads men into difficult or dangerous or disastrous situations. Yeah, like in ancient literature, these were sirens, yeah, calling out to sailors and leading them to trouble. Yeah, I will share this presentation, no worries. Okay, so that's femme fatale. For example, yeah, she's the femme fatale on steroids, and on the surface, she seems to suggest the writer's belief in gender equality. Okay, let's move on. Genre. So that's another like French word, and genre basically means a class or category, especially if you talk about arts. So basically, if you want to put any kind of artistic endeavors into specific categories, depending on the form, content, technique, or the like, crime stories, comedies, whatever, different music genres. Yeah, so for example, in recent years, lo-fi, chill, and other forms of focus music have become so popular that there are now multiple YouTube channels devoted to the genre. Yeah, so basically, yeah, we can use this to describe, yeah, different types of films, music, any that has specific distinct style. Yeah, so this is just a genre. Then we have a glitch. I guess this one comes from Yiddish language. What's a glitch? Because I guess it's used nowadays mostly when you talk about some IT stuff. So what is a glitch, and what does it mean? Just feel free to type anything up. Because this one I believe is pretty popular. Error of matrix. Yeah, that's right. Complication. Yeah, could be. Yep. Very good. Thank you very much. So yeah, a glitch is like a problem or a small problem or fault that prevents something from being successful. Yeah, like very often in some software, yeah, or programming. For example, on the other hand, the JIRA software had some glitches of its own, not always quickly adapting to changes in orientation or swiping away apps immediately. So that's a glitch for you, like a small problem, error, or fault. That's just that. Okay, guerrilla. That's a Spanish word. Any ideas about the meaning? Who is a guerrilla? When you think about military conflicts that happen around the world, guerrilla women. Actually, it sounds like a gorilla, but it has nothing to do with the ape, with the animal like gorilla. So guerrilla is basically a member of a band of irregular soldiers that use a technique called guerrilla warfare. So basically, it's not like a regular army, but these are like irregular soldiers that harass the enemy by some surprise attacks, surprise raids, or by sabotaging communication or sabotaging supply lines. Yeah, so these guys are guerrillas. So not like an official army, but people who rather hide and attack surprisingly and fight against a regular army. But these guys are not a regular army, so that's guerrillas for you. So nothing to do with animals here. For example, it has been inaccessible for weeks as Israeli bombardment and troops try to take out heavy guerrilla resistance. Yeah, so I guess people fighting in Gaza now, yeah, some of them are definitely guerrillas. Don't belong to the regular army. Okay, gung ho. Oh, that's from Chinese actually, and it's been adopted to into English. And simply, if you're gung ho, it means you're very dedicated to something. You're very enthusiastic. For example, yeah, the film stars Mark Burgess Ashton as the gung ho young fighter pilot. Yes, a gung ho fighter pilot, basically. Yeah, very enthusiastic a pilot. It's used very often when in a fighting context. Yeah, if somebody has like a gung ho approach to things, they just want to fight. Or I have a grandson who is a gung ho for football, so like very enthusiastic about football. So not only in the fighting context, but mostly. But also if you're very enthusiastic or you're keen on something, then you can also use this Chinese phrase. Hasta la vista. Yeah, like from the Terminator, like another classic Spanish phrase. And of course, for those who speak Spanish, no problems with this one. It simply means, yeah, like until we see each other, yeah, like until we meet again or something like that. So for example, yeah, we parted with mutual compliments and with the usual hasta la vista, amigo. Or that argument was spectacularly unsuccessful, and people said hasta la vista, baby. Bon voyage. Okay, that's another. Oh, thank you, Arnold. Hasta la vista, baby. Exactly. So I had to include this phrase on our list because yeah, from 1990s, that's one of my favorite films back then. Right. Okay. Id est, another Latin abbreviation, very often just used as IE. And it simply means that is, or this is to say, or in other words. So, for example, they spent their last day at a camp enjoying their two favorite activities. That is, like id est, swimming and ziplining. Or another example, our writers do a lot of research to avoid anachronisms. That is, those errors that confuse the times of our stories with later times in history. Yeah, so this one is mostly used in writing. Instead of writing that is, you just use the abbreviation IE. Like this. Okay. Oh, je ne sais quoi. So that's another French one. So if you speak French, then it's not a problem. But yeah, somehow English language likes French very much and steals a lot from French. So this one simply refers to a quality that cannot be described or named easily. Something difficult to define or even indefinable. Something elusive. Something you cannot catch or you cannot touch. Especially when the sensation is quite pleasing. So, for example, yeah, she has a certain je ne sais quoi that charms everybody. Yeah? So she's got that something, but nobody knows what it is. It's just a special something that puts a charm on everyone. So this is, yeah, je ne sais quoi, exactly. I don't know what, yeah. That would be the little translation. Yep, so that's je ne sais quoi. Macho. Oh, this is an international Spanish phrase, like we see, well, Arnold and Terminator. Yeah, definitely the guy looks like macho. So of course, the same meaning as in our language. So if someone can be characterized as macho, it's very manly, especially when it's manifested in a like assertive, self-conscious, and dominating way. So yeah, Terminator is a perfect example of macho. For example, yeah, he was gentle, mature, came off as intelligent and secure in his masculinity, didn't get wrapped up in macho rivalries, and most importantly, he treated Sarah like gold. Beautiful. Okay, so that's a macho for you. Modus operandi. That's another classic Latin phrase. You can very often hear it in some films, like some detective stories or crime stories, when they talk about the MO, the way of doing. Exactly. Thank you. So it's yeah the usual way of doing things. Yeah. So exactly. For example, yeah, like how something is done, like the modus operandi of burglars or some murderers or whatever. So very often the abbreviation MO is used by some police officers investigating some crime, looking for clues. For example, yeah, the aim of a scientist is to investigate the modus operandi of the natural world, or A criminal's modus operandi can give the police a lead. So that's MO for you. Nouveau riche. So that's a motive, kind of. Another French phrase. I guess it's also been adopted into our language. Yeah? Like, so basically, if someone can be described as nouveau riche, it simply means, like the name suggests, that this someone has recently become wealthy, or somebody has become like newly rich, right? For example, then the international monetary boom and its immediate effects on China transformed the middle class into the nouveau riche. Or yeah, Jack come home from a long cruise with prize money in his pockets, was as ostentatious as any nouveau riche. Yep. So people who have recently become wealthy, yeah, nouveau riche, so newly rich. That's the literal translation. Okay, then we have a partisan. Okay, so like in politics, this might be adjective from the word party, but also a partisan as a person is like an adherent or supporter of a person or a group or a party or some kind of cause. This is a person who shows like a biased, non-objective, yeah, emotional allegiance to something. So the antonym of partisan, when you use it in the meaning of a person, would be an opponent. So partisan is kind of like a supporter of something. For example, however, that likely won't stop some partisan sources, including possibly the president himself, from declaring premature victory. Okay, then we have like another international Latin classic, like persona non grata. So of course, the same meaning as in our language. So it's an unacceptable person who is not wanted or who is homeless. Well, maybe if somebody kicks them out, they might be homeless. So basically, a person like you don't want to be here, right? Not wanted or not welcome. That's a nice one. For example, yeah, Egypt expelled the Turkish ambassador last year, prompting Ankara to declare the Egyptian envoy in Turkey persona non grata. So it's like very often used in the language of diplomacy. Yeah, yeah, somebody is expelled from a country for some political reasons, for example. Okay, post-mortem. Yeah, so another Latin, like post means after, like mort, I guess. Yeah, it's death. So post-mortem is like after death, I guess. And yeah, in English we use it mostly to describe an examination conducted on a dead body. For example, if you want to find out the cause of death. To determine the cause of death. For example, yeah, a post-mortem examination revealed that there were no obvious signs of abnormality in Miss Moss' body. So that's post-mortem. Prima donna. Okay, so another Italian one. Also used in our language, I guess, but in English, it mostly means like either a temperamental and conceited person who thinks of themselves as, wow, I'm the best, or like more like in Polish meaning, a principal female performer, like in some opera or some play in the theater of Philharmony. Yeah? So some examples: the tenor dies, the prima donna appears to do the same, but the libretto consoles you by declaring that she only swoons. To swoon means like to faint, to lose consciousness, right? The journalist blasts him for being a mediocre prima donna who will be beaten by the Jets. So that's prima donna for you. Okay, pro bono, another Latin classic. And I guess, yeah, we use it in our language in some legal context. So most important, for free, yeah. So free of charge. If something is done pro bono, it's done free of charge, without asking for payments. Yeah, like usually with some legal services, yeah, some lawyer can represent you like pro bono, free of charge, because of some values that you share, or something. For example, yeah, representing the Washington Blade in the lawsuit on a pro bono basis is the law firm Davis Wright Tremaine, which has expertise in communications as well as media and entertainment. Yeah. So if you do something pro bono, it's for free. Usually used in like legal services. context, right? So that's pro bono. Pro rata, another Latin one with pro. And this one simply means in proportion to the amount or size of something. Something's done on a pro rata basis. For example, yeah, a set salary is paid for this work, and any additional sessions are paid pro rata. So proportionally, right? That's the meaning of pro rata. Quid pro quo. Lots of Latin today. I'm sorry, but but actually there's lots of Latin in English as well. So I guess yeah, another international Latin classic. Yeah. So basically something for something. Yeah, quid pro quo. Usually it's used to refer to an equal exchange. Yeah, I do something for me, you do something for me, I do something for you, right? For example, helping Ian with his math was quid pro quo for the time Ian helped me mow the lawn. Okay, so it was like a nice exchange. I do something for you and you do something for me. So something for something, quid pro quo. Okay. RSVP, which is of course, I guess you're familiar with it. Yeah, it's from French. Usually you can find it on some kind of invitations. Like when people want you to confirm if you are coming or not. Yeah. So like répondez s'il vous plaît, straight from French. So please reply simply. Yeah. So very often used on invitations when people who invite you want confirmations from people who are invited to some kind of event. For example, yeah, admission is free, but by invitation only, and advance RSVP is required. Or yeah, please RSVP to editor at from forum.com if you would definitely or probably attend. So that's basically it. So here, like RSVP is used as a verb. Yeah, please respond. Yeah, please RSVP. So that's how it's used. Status quo, another immortal Latin classic. Yeah. So of course, the same as in our language, because I guess it's pretty international and also used in Polish. So like the current situation, like as things are for now. For example, yeah, it will soon prove too expensive to maintain the status quo, or in the 1980s, companies and investors around the world mobilized to deny apartheid South Africa the economic lifeline it needed to maintain its status quo of racial oppression. Yeah, so status quo, the current situation. Okay, then we have the last one actually in our list, verbatim. Of course, we had to finish with some Latin phrase. Any ideas what this one means? Maybe you remember like from 1990s, 1980s, like floppy disks made by a company called Verbatim, and also then CDs. Yeah, this producer. Yeah. So in Latin, verbatim simply means literally, yeah, in exactly the same words as were used originally. Yeah. So for example, at least 3 federal documents, including 2019 report, repeat almost verbatim, so word for word, literally, yeah, the project applications, claims for visitation, job creation, and revenue generation. Yeah. So yeah. Now I guess yeah, optical discs are no longer popular. So yeah, but verbatim, word for word, literally. All right. So that's actually the last word on our list for today. So once again, thank you very much for attending. Of course, there's many more foreign phrases or words used in English. So I just picked some. There's many more. I hope that's you've learned something today, of you've refreshed some knowledge you've already had. So once again, thank you very much. Have a good afternoon, and hope to talk to you sometime in the future. Have a good afternoon. Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Bye bye.